Hey there, I'm Jeff with The Simple Dollar, and today we're talking about when you should downgrade your auto insurance. So the fact of the matter is that auto insurance is required in all 50 United States, and so most people tend to be overinsured, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you're on a budget, it can be a place that you can save some money. So in this video, we'll cover how you can assess your auto insurance and then some tips for saving money, and we'll have those towards the end of the video. And we also did an accompanying article on this same topic on our website. So if you want even more information, you can check out everything down below in the description. We even have this cool little widget that you just enter a few bits of your personal information and it can send a tailored auto insurance quote to you. So if you do end up wanting to shop around, you can use that widget and I think it'll be helpful. So all that stuff is down below in the description. But getting back to the topic at hand, when should you downgrade your auto insurance? It all has to do with your personal preferences, your driving habits, your budget, and your risk tolerance, because insurance of all kinds is just about managing a risk. And speaking of risk, let's go over the main types of auto insurance so you can figure out what maybe you have and what fits with your risk tolerance. So the first thing is liability coverage. This is the bedrock of auto insurance. It's usually comprised of two things. One is bodily injury liability coverage, the other is property damage liability coverage. This is required, I believe, in all 50 United States, so almost certainly your plan has a liability coverage item. It usually has limits. They can be high, they can be low, whatever they are. This is an area where you probably don't want to skimp or try to save money or limit your coverage or anything of the sort. Typically, liability coverage is really affordable. So I just want you to be aware that you probably have it. If anything, you want to increase it, not decrease it. So let's kind of block that out. You have it, keep it, don't touch it. If anything, raise it. The other two big core tenets of auto insurance you may or may not have, depending on whether you want them, your insurance agent recommended it, the lender required it, whatever, or if you have better auto insurance in general, are collision and comprehensive coverage. You probably hear these all the time. These are two things that you may want to meddle with if you're trying to save money. So the general idea with collision coverage is that it covers your car regardless of who's at fault. So if you get in an accident, you want to be able to fix your car, even if it's your fault, the accident. So that's why you have collision coverage. It does come with a deductible. So oftentimes that's $500 or $1,000. Collision coverage most of the time is pretty affordable. Last I looked, it was like $300 per year. So you can choose whether or not you want it. In some states, they have different laws, but you may be able to mess around with your collision coverage. Certainly one thing you can do is raise your deductible, because the higher your deductible, the lower your premiums are gonna be, so that saves you money on a monthly or 6-month basis. That's collision coverage. I think most people have it. As far as comprehensive coverage goes, it sort of fills in the gaps. So collision coverage is a car accident, or possibly a hit and run. Comprehensive coverage is a tree falls in your car. Maybe you use bad gas, maybe you hit a deer, your car is stolen, stuff like that. Comprehensive coverage is usually pretty affordable as well. That's typically like $150 a year, something like that. But you don't have to have it in all cases. So a few different options for why you would wanna get rid of collision or comprehensive coverage. Let's start with collision coverage. The big reason to possibly get rid of it if you can is that you have just a nice safety fund. If you're driving around a car, you're feeling good financially, you have an emergency fund, and you say, look, if I cause an accident, I'll just pay for the repairs. Most people probably don't do that, but if you have a nice safety fund, you can get rid of it because you presumably can pay to fix your own car. Another reason is if your deductible is higher than the value of your car or really close to the value of your car. You get in an accident, it's your fault, your car's worth $500, but your deductible is $500, why even carry the coverage? Those are the two main reasons to possibly drop collision coverage. So those are the reasons to possibly drop your collision coverage. Of course, the flip side is true. If you have a valuable car, or if you don't have a whole heck of a lot of money in a safety fund, probably don't drop this insurance option. Now, when it comes to comprehensive coverage, the reason you would drop it is basically the same as with collision coverage. If you're driving around a car that's on its last leg and it's not super valuable to you, why have the coverage? You're just paying for something and your car isn't all that valuable. If you have a deductible, it possibly is not even worth it to pay your deductible. So if you don't have a super valuable car, don't get it. An overarching theme is if you care about your car, if your car is valuable, if your car is new, whatever, you probably want to have comprehensive and collision coverage. Now, other types of coverages that you may want to look for are underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. This will cover you if you get hit by somebody that has no insurance or doesn't have enough insurance. If you have this, probably you don't want to drop it. If you don't have it, you may consider getting it. Another thing is personal injury protection, PIP or PIP, depending on who you're talking to. And this is typically something that pays your medical bills. So if you need to go to the hospital, it'll pay for those bills, childcare, and a few other things. If you feel like you have adequate health insurance already, you may feel like you don't need this coverage. So that's something that you might be able to go without if your state permits. Also, if you have roadside assistance and AAA, why are you paying for both? Maybe just drop one of them. So you want to look at your policy documents, consider how you drive, how far you drive, where you drive, your driving habits, all these things, and figure out if your coverage options are right for you. One way you could possibly save money is just shop around. A lot of people get an insurance company and stick with an insurance company. It's a really sticky cost. You're probably not going to change it all that much. But if you shop around, it's really easy to switch insurance carriers, and you might be able to save enough money just there, which is why we have that tool on our website. And like I said before, that's linked down below in the description. Now, some people do have the question of how do they switch or downgrade their insurance? Oftentimes, it is as simple as picking up the phone and calling your insurance company. If you want to switch, they're very familiar with people switching. I don't think you're gonna have a problem with that. If you do want to decrease your coverage or even upgrade your coverage, call them, explain to them the situation, and then check your next bill to make sure everything went into effect correctly. It's pretty much that simple. The bottom line though is that when you're thinking about downgrading your car insurance, it is really a gut move. Look over your policies, consider your situation. If you really don't feel like you should downgrade, even if the numbers make sense, probably don't downgrade. I know that's not very specific advice, but like I said at the outset, insurance is all about managing risk. You can't predict what's gonna happen. If you sort of feel like you shouldn't drop it or lower it, don't do it. Just pay a little bit extra, maybe even just increase your deductible so you can lower your premiums. That's it. Hopefully I earned your thumbs up. Hopefully you're now a subscriber to our channel. Lots of stuff for you to check out down below in the description. Have a great day.